I came to the UK when I was 19 or 18, I can't remember. Basically, I'd finished national service in my school in Cyprus and came here to study. At that point, I thought fine art, and I went to St. Martin's School of Art. I did a foundation course there, and that's where I kind of discovered film and the idea that you could be a filmmaker. It was a great opportunity for someone like me. We just don't have film studies in Cyprus, so my first job as an assistant was between my foundation and my first year at St. Martin's. I was an assistant on a film called Two Suns in the Sky, which was a Greek feature in Cyprus. So pretty much from, quite early on, age 19, I started working in Cyprus as well. I went to the American Film Institute and did a postgraduate course in cinematography, and at the end of it, I'd always admired Connie. He was my favorite cinematographer, the one I looked up to. There was something about his choice of films, etc. And apart from the cinematography, that was something I wanted to learn from. I'd met him a couple of times at seminars he'd given us. So we were in a small kind of environment anyway of 20 or so students, and at the end I really wanted to do an internship with him. My classmate Hamlet Sarkissian, who was a director and screenwriter, had a project called Camera Obscura, which he wrote in a class at AFI with Leslie Stevens as his mentor. Hamlet told Leslie that his cinematographer, me, really loved Conrad Hall's work, and that it was something that someone he aspired to and was inspired by. And Leslie said, well, he's one of my best friends, and we've shot quite a few things together. And he says, wow, he's desperate to try and get an internship or a meeting. So I met Connie the following day. We had a really long meeting and talked about a whole bunch of things. Very few had to do with cinematography, but we got on really well. And he was about to start Steve's Aliens, A Civil Action. And I asked him if he had a camera intern for the film. He said, yes, usually I get a lot of applications for camera interns, and at that point he had none. So I think I was lucky in that I got in there 3 months prior. I mean, Camera Obscura was really difficult. It was definitely baptism by fire to some extent. It was, in those days we shot on film. There's no digital playback or things like that. So you have to be really accurate. It was quite an experimental film in terms of levels of darkness, and a very, very technically challenging film with a certain amount of stunt scenes, a certain amount of kind of in-camera trick photography as well. So it was a challenging film, a very challenging schedule. We're talking about 5 to 6 pages a day as well. With Conrad, I didn't sit there and ask him questions, how do I do a scene indoors? Pretty much what I did is work as his camera intern in the camera department on A Civil Action, which is a much more relaxed position in terms of your responsibilities than being a loader or a focus puller or an operator. So the way it works is you assist the camera department, but you're in a position to also look after a cinematographer. At that time, Conrad was in his 70s, and tried to make him be as comfortable as he could on set with a demanding schedule. And in doing that, you can overhear conversations, observe, and then it's up to you how much of this you take in. You could do that and just spend the entire time flirting with girls and get nothing out of it. I did 7 years of film school, but I think probably that year or two with Conrad was far more influential in a certain way.